going on. So I watched the ESPY Awards, the ESP, watched a little bit of that mess, and ESPN 2020. And they're trying to have athletes and coaches talk about what we need to do and all like that. And it was good to see athletes in various sports getting acknowledged and what have you. However, I don't trust no ESPN. They've always been racist, you know. They got Screaming A. Smith up there who talks, and sometimes he'll make some sense, and sometimes he'll tap dance. It all depends on which way they roll. I've always had issue with the network because I didn't feel like Stuart Scott got his due. I have much respect for Jamel Hill, who I'm down with, who I follow on Twitter, and Michael Smith was good, and they ran them off the six. Numbers never lie, his and hers. They never got a fair shot. They probably must have felt that ESPN was turning the Soul Train with commentary, and they didn't want that. Sad reality, because the bland network is in a funk. I've watched over the years, and to me, Ralph Wiley will always be like a standard of sports journalist, the late Ralph Wiley. They ain't never going to anyone approach that man. But they were funky with Stuart Scott, who brought the hip hop 90s funky flavor to the network, and they was funky with him. The same network that went out in the last 10 years who hired Rush Limbaugh and Kurt Schilling, two of the most KKK non-hood wearing people that really ride underneath a hood, if you know what I mean. So, what can ESPN really say? They can have, Russell Wilson is, and I'm glad to see him rocking the Black Lives Matter and talking, but he ain't say all this when Colin Kaepernick, what happened 2-3 years ago. Where was all this at there? See, ESPN, the Disney and the fantasy, but they didn't take no stand. They ain't hold nobody accountable for nothing. They don't hold their own network accountable. They got racism on the ESPN campus. So let's be calling 100. And I'm gonna tell you like this: they can talk about all the money and the pleasures and what we gonna do till you see more black owners, more black general managers, more black coaches, more black fans. You got to have the economics to participate. If you want to just always pimp the plantation and show the people playing, you got to show them in ownership. You got to show the bosses. You got to show some shot calling. You got to put it all in perspective. They got to have real stories. Tell the public why Colin Kaepernick really can't get back in the field, because the white racist owners don't want him. Same thing with Cam Newton is facing. How you a league MVP 5 years ago, lead your team to a Super Bowl, and you can't get a job? That's a story and a half. Why they ignore Barry Bonds, the greatest home run hitter ever? Because whatever you want to say about this or that, they're making money. I've always had a bone with ESPN, the OJ Made in America. Are you kidding me? Because however OJ was and portrayed and what have you in the 70s or what have you, that's the kind of black athlete they want on their networks. Same with Michael Jordan or something. They don't want you really saying nothing. So let's cut to the chase. It's nice to sell. Like I said, there were some athletes who had some interesting stories, and I watch stuff like that. But let's be realistic. They have not even cut to the core of the issue. And it's a big play. More than statues coming down, you got to have some of that white privilege come down. Got to have more black presence on everything. And you got to make it mandatory. If we're going to call it United States. Black and white ain't got finished yet. I ain't talking about nobody else. So if you're going to really do it, you're going to honor the honor of Jackie Robinson, John Carlos, Tommy Smith, Muhammad Ali, Arthur Ashe, to Colin Kaepernick. You got to tell the whole story. Althea Gibson, got to tell the story. Wilma Rudolph, got to tell the story. Got to tell all the importance and the impact. Talk about Dwayne Thomas, the Dallas Cowboys, the Nick stand. Mahmoud Raoul, who got whiteballed by the NBA with national anthem. Craig Hodges, you got to bring them all out there. And I'm being impressed. Because those are Spencer Haywood stories. Real stories. And what it was really like to be a black athlete in the day and what you face. Reggie Jackson, uncut. I want it all uncut. That would make the network worth watching. Not some old stiff-necked turkeys with some term talking about, we're thinking all this. That programming mindset and the dumping down and making it into like a music video clip and made ESPN a joke. So the show, I'm like, it was cool that they were acknowledging some things, but listen, stop sprinkle. Y'all got to pour. That's my take. Stop with the sprinkling. You got to pour the full bottle out to get to the root. Because the George Floyd situation has been going on and on and on, and you got to hit them in the pockets, ESPN. So that's my take about the ESPY Awards 2020. Give me your thoughts, your takes, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell rings in the video. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for one another. And it's time for folks to keep it real. I'm out.